You don't have to sell your soul in order to sell your services. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be pushy. You don't have to be manipulative. All of that is, it's gross, and you don't have to do it. Okay. This structure, as I kind of said before, is going to make it so that pitching is not awkward at all. It's going to help you to have shorter, more productive sales calls that don't devolve into just drawn out coffee chats. You're going to know what to say and when to say it. And I'm going to teach you the number one mindset that changed everything for me about my sales calls. So my big thing, with sales is ethical sales. And that just means, I have my set of values. They don't have to make sense to anybody else. I have my set of values about what I feel good about. And that's what I design my sales around. And that's what I help people custom design their sales around. And two of the big things that are encompassed in this ethical sales is, number one, no surprise pitching. If you get on a call with somebody and it's just a coffee chat or a connection call or a quick consult, whatever it is that you're calling, and then you try to manipulate the conversation and surprise them, like pounce on them with a pitch, when that's not what the call was set up for, that's gross. It's gross. The person on the call is going to feel clobbered. They're going to feel like almost like you pounced on them. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to feel good to them. And they're going to kind of feel like you tried to trick them, which is not going to result in a sale. You're not going to feel good about yourself. That's not an integrity, right? You've had this happen, right, Toyin?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Yeah. So, yeah. And people will teach you this. There's some coaches that will teach you, some business coaches that will teach you, just get people on coffee chats and then, turn it into a sales call. Don't do that. Like it tells me that you're incredibly insecure and you don't really believe in what you're doing or what you're selling. Like if you really believe in the value of what you bring and the value of what you bring, you can straight up say like, hey, I know I can help you. Let's get on a strategy call. Instead of, well, do you want to just get to know each other? I would love to get to know you. Like gross. So the first tenet of ethical sales is no surprise pitching. And the second one is don't pitch to someone who isn't qualified. So this is where, like, I used to hear about ICA, Ideal Client Avatar, in every single business program that I went into. But the way they would talk about Ideal Client Avatar is as if you were creating a fictional character, and they would have you come up with all these things about your avatar that don't matter. What color are her eyes? What kind of car does she drive? When she goes to Starbucks, what kind of Starbucks does she order? Who flipping cares? You know what I'm talking about, Toyin, don't you?
Oh, God. I can remember a lot of questions. I was like, is that where we're here? When they ask me such questions, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And I understand from a certain mindset perspective why they ask all those questions. But basically what it is the people who are teaching you ICA like that, they learned it from somebody else who learned it from somebody else who learned it from somebody else. And none of these people know what they're doing. But they're good at passing along a system they learned, but it's not a good system. So what I figured out is that there's a time and place for some demographics, right? Maybe that you work with, you work really well with people under 30, or you work really well with women in their 60s or men in their 40s or whatever. And if you know that, then that is an important part of your ideal client avatar. But the most important things are these psychographics. So what's their mindset? And this is a cheat code for you. And I've never heard anybody talk about this. And this is gold, right? If you get nothing else out of this, write this down. Okay.
Yeah.
The key things that you're looking for, I don't care what your niche is. I don't care what kind of whatever you're doing. The key thing, if you're a coach or a healer, or even if you're a service provider, like these are the main characteristics you're looking for. You're looking for people with a can-do attitude, that are more married to their possibilities than they are their limitations. You're looking for people that are action takers. You're looking for people who are decisive. You're looking for people who, you know, they're determined and they're committed.
Okay.
Those, you know, those are like the most important things, right? Because, you know, and you may know that you work really well with people who are very organized, or you may be somebody that, if somebody is like super organized, it drives you insane, you know. So there's things that you need to know about yourself, and you need to know about people that you work with. And it's good to keep like a running tally as you work with more people. Who are your best clients that get the greatest results and are the most fun working with? You need to write their characteristics down and become very familiar with them. Also, something you never hear anybody talk about is your nightmare client avatar. It's as important to know who you don't want to work with as it is to know who you really want to work with, because you want to be talking to these people and using your content to separate them out, to filter them out, for one thing. For another thing, in the DMs, or when you're doing a quick consult call with somebody or whatever, you want to know what you're listening for to figure out, is this a dream client or is this a potential nightmare client? And so that you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting their time. Okay. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things you need to know about your ideal client is, what foundation do they need to have coming in order to get the best results from you, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, the people that are going to get the best results with me for my business coaching are people who have been in business for 1 to 2 years. They've already made some sales. They already have like 1,500 plus, you know, Facebook followers or Facebook friends, you know, connections. They've already been consistently like posting value posts for their business, like 3 to 5 days a week for at least 6 months, right? So that's the foundation that I'm looking for. Somebody that comes to me and they've only got 300 Facebook friends and they really don't know who their ideal client is yet, and they don't know, you know, what it is that they do and all this stuff. I can help that person, but I don't enjoy it as much, and it's a drain on my energy, right? And at the levels that I'm now charging, those people are less likely to, they could afford it if they wanted to, but their return on investment is going to be slower than someone who's already in that better place, right? Yeah. So I know that my preference is to work with somebody who has this foundation. With my my transformational coaching that I've expanded to doing as well, the people that are going to get the most bang for their buck with me with that are also people who have been on a growth journey for probably 2 to 5 years, and they've already invested in courses and they've done, you know, a lot of different modalities. They just got a good foundation, you know, and people with, you know, who have like a spiritual life, you know, not necessarily religious, but like a spiritual life, you know. So these are just some of the things that I know I'm looking for when I'm talking to somebody, whether it's in my posts, in the DMs, you know, on a call, because I don't want to pitch to somebody who's not going to get good results. I want to pitch someone to someone who is a qualified prospect. And really, you want to set up your business, and this is a whole other topic, but you want to set up your business so you're not even getting on the phone with unqualified prospects. You're doing a lot to filter them out so that you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting theirs. So some people will say, especially like the really heart-centered, high integrity entrepreneurs, you know, those of us who are like, we live to serve. A lot of people will be like, well, I don't want to turn anybody away because they need my help. But here's the thing. If they're not qualified, let them go, because there's somebody else out there who's better qualified to help them, right? So you helping them and taking their money isn't really helping them. Like, they might get something from you, but there's somebody out there that's a better fit for them. And you just have to trust in the universe that that's going to happen. Like, trust in God that they're going to find the right person, and, you know, don't take their money. If it's not you, don't take their money, you know? I had one coach that a lot of what I finally found about sales that really worked for me came from one person, but there were a couple of things with her that I didn't like. And one of the things was that her philosophy was to, you sell to anybody who'll give you a credit card number. And her justification was, you know, who am I to decide for someone whether or not they're a good fit, you know? And there's outliers. There's people that maybe I'm wrong about when I make that judgment call, but most of the people that I'm making that judgment call about, I know I'm right. And you know, I've taken plenty of programs that I paid a whole lot of money and I didn't get I didn't get ROI, I didn't get a single client from, and or barely got any change from or whatever. And I never want to do that to somebody. I would rather just not sell to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is another, this is a good thing. Like we all feel imposter syndrome. It lessens and then becomes different the more successful you are, but there's always some imposter syndrome. But especially in the beginning, like if you're really afraid of, oh my gosh, how can I sell to this person, or how can I sell to them at this high ticket price, or how can I raise my prices, because you're worried that you won't be able to deliver, just make a promise to yourself that you're not going to pitch to someone who's not qualified. Just make that promise and stick to it, and then a lot of that fear will fall away. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's really a point. I really want to say thank you, because this particular situation happened to me like twice. And a friend, he registered into a course, or like a 6-month course with someone. And when it was in between the course, the person was like, it was a webinar course, how to do your webinar, but this person doesn't have any background, as in doesn't really know the structure. He just wanted to do webinars. So when they got into the system, like 3 months into the system, the guy was still moving around in circles. And the owner of the coach was like, I don't know what you're doing here. And it's like, why don't you know what I'm doing here? Why don't you search me well to see if you really want to work with me? I'm a new person in this system. If you are working
Right.
with the people that really know what they want, they are already into it like 2 years, 3 years, I won't be here. I'm not your fit client. So that was a little issue. They had to refund his money and tell him, okay, you can go, because he couldn't fit into everything they were doing in that class. So basically, just you said, it's very important for us to search the people we really want to work with. If you know the people you want to work with, when they come, you know them. When they don't come, you just leave them alone. So that is a very good point I'm taking on tonight. And I think every one of us out there, you are taking this point. Everybody's not for you. That is another statement. That is exactly what Elder is saying. Everybody is not for you. You need to know who is for you, and then leave the rest for other people to take care of.
Yeah. Trust that they are going to find the help they need. You can give people referrals, and you don't have to be nasty about it. You can just say, based on what you're telling me, I don't think that I'm the right person to help you. You don't have to say, well, you're really screwed up and I don't want to have anything to do with you. I mean, you can be very diplomatic about it. And, or, maybe you do know a resource or a book or a course or, another direction that you can send them into, but it's not your responsibility. Your only responsibility is just to recognize. And I'm actually amending my contract right now so that the next people that I sign, there is a termination clause, which is not common in the coaching industry for there to be a termination clause. But I want there to be, because I don't want somebody, I do everything in my power to be very transparent about how I work and who my program's for and who's it not for, and to be very picky about who I take. But sometimes you get people that aren't a right fit, and I don't want to continue working with them if I'm not enjoying it, if they're not making progress. I don't want to take their money, so I'm putting in provisions. This is how you break the contract. Here's how I can break it. Here's how you can break it. And here's how we will deal with if you're on an extended payment plan and you still owe me money. This is how we're going to deal with that. Or if you've paid in full and I need to give you a refund, here's how we're going to deal with that. And now I can feel, really good, because I know I'm doing everything I can to only sign people who are a great fit. And then I'm giving, them and myself a way to say, you know what, we went into this with the best intentions, but it's not the right fit. You're not going to get what you need out of this. So, let's just part as friends, So that's another thing that you can do.
I think that's very important. Thank you for that information. I'm going to
welcome. So, okay. So this is the mindset goal. This was the number one mindset trick that changed everything for me with sales. So I would go into, I did have a lot of mindset problems around sales. Let me address this. So I did have a lot of mindset problems. I did have the idea that sales is bad. You grow up in pretty much any culture, sales is really vilified. My parents have issues with money and people with money and, salesmen and all this stuff. So I grew up, I had a lot of stuff in my head. But one of the things that happened to me a lot in my trainings, when I would go into my business trainings, is the coaches would be like, well, if you're not selling, then it's a mindset issue. It's a mindset. It's just your mindset. It's your success mindset. It's your sales mindset. It's your money mindset. And I did have those issues, but I also wasn't aligned with the way they were telling me to sell. And so mindset is important. You need to work on your mindset. It's true. You need to become aware of your blocks. You need to become aware where you've got negativity around sales and money and all that stuff. But if you don't have the right strategy, none of that matters. It really, it's both and. You need mindset and you need a strategy that makes sense and works for you, right? Because once I proved to myself that there was a way of selling that wasn't sleazy, that actually felt good and that was effective, then a lot of the mindset stuff just fell away on its own, but you can tell me sales isn't sleazy and sales is service and sales is love and all of that stuff, which I can own that now. But then you're telling me that, and then you're using a sales script that uses NLP, which is a form of hypnosis on people without telling them, and then asking them for thousands of dollars. That doesn't seem ethical to me. That just reinforces the idea that sales is sleazy and awful and predatory and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did have a lot of mindset issues. And I would go into these sales calls and I was using these scripts and, wasn't selling in a way that was aligned for me. And I would be so nervous the entire time, just thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to pitch? Oh my God, I've got to close this client because I've got to pay my bills this month. Oh my God, I've got to close this client because I got to make the next payment on this another random business training that's not working for me. And it was awful. It was awful. So I was really battling myself. Like on the one hand, I'm like, I know I really need to make this money and I know that I really want to help this person. But on the other hand, I was like, but I don't like the way I'm selling and I feel like I'm manipulating them. And this, just feels really gross. It was awful. And I was very up in my head. And whenever you're nervous and you're up in your head, you are not being present. We call the value of a sales call is that what part of the value is that you are giving someone your undivided attention. Think about how often we get the undivided attention of another human being these days. Even when we're with friends, even when we're with family, we have our phones, we have our computers, we have TVs on everywhere we go. We're, trying to go out for dinner or, something. And we don't get a lot of this one-to-one, undivided attention. So that is the biggest gift that you can give someone and really make them feel heard and make them feel seen, while you're talking to them. But it's really hard to do that when you're so up in your head about this, that, and the other thing. And in my case, I was so afraid of pitching. And so what really helped me was to stop looking at a sales call as someone auditioning me for a job and to start looking at it as I was interviewing them to see if they were the right fit for my program. So it was not about me trying to convince them to buy. It's about me ascertaining if they are the right fit. It's me deciding based on what they're telling me if I even want to pitch to them. And it's not coming from a cocky or arrogant place, where it's this person needs me so badly and they're so beneath me, but I'll see if they're worthy. It's not, that's gross. I'm not talking about that, but it's stepping into your power and owning the value of what you do and the value of this program or whatever it is that the service that you put together and really, looking are they the right fit? Are they in the right place? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but this just stepping into that made me so much more calm. And if I stopped worrying about them interviewing me and instead look at it as me interviewing them, then I was able to focus on them, and really listen and ask good follow-up questions. So it really, really changed the way that I sold.
Okay. So you have to, the way you do things right now is different from the scripting that they normally give us when we go into coaching classes, and you want to like see it as an interview if the person is a good fit for your coaching. So
Yes,
the questions, as they begin to answer you, you begin to figure out in your head, okay, this is the right person or this is the wrong person. I have
exactly.
I have a question there. There are sometimes some people might like they just want to come ask you questions.
Mhm,
They join your link and they come and like, okay, I want to ask so let me just listen to the question she's gonna ask me. To be sincere, I do that. I just go on the call and I want to see, like because I am a hacker, I hack a lot of stuff. So I want to hack everybody's conversation, note it down, record it, then I keep go back to listen to it. So basically, if at the end of the day, the person takes you through all that and you are like, okay, this person is for me. I think the person knows what she's doing, or the person don't know what she's doing. She knows what he's doing. How would you feel at the end of the day if the person did not join your course or your program? What do you do?
Um, so I'm going to go through my actual sales call structure. This is just all kind of like the mindset stuff setting up before, but I look at it is that I am interviewing them to see if they're a good fit. And then I'm going to tell them honestly whether I think they're a good fit and why. And then I'm going to pitch. And from there, if we go into objections, I have a very different way of dealing with objections. You do not want to overcome all objections. You don't. You want to, if someone really is set in their objections, then you let them go. Is the way that I teach it. But I have a very different way of dealing with objections so that it actually helps instead of it becoming a battleground where you're trying to bulldoze over whatever their concerns are. I instead teach you how to uncover like what part of the concern is real and how much of it is just fear, and see if it makes sense, to go forward. But I don't teach people to try to close everybody, because if someone is objecting and objecting and objecting, it doesn't matter whether the fears are, or the objections are real or they're just fear-based. That person is going to be a pain in the ass for you to try to coach, or to work with or whatever, because they're really married to their limitations. They're not married to their possibilities.
The result.
So, yeah. So all of this, like I said, like sales, it's kind of complicated, but it's also incredibly simple. So this is sales simplified. Okay. A sales call is a conversation with the goal of finding out, one, does this person have a problem that you are qualified to help them solve? Two, are they qualified to get good results with your service or program? And three, are they ready to change? And one of my clients just sent me a boxer and it popped up. Sorry. But yeah, at its heart, sales is really just, do they have a problem you can help them solve? Are you qualified? Are they at a place that you're actually going to be able to help them? Are they ready to change? And then for me, personality is very important. If I don't like somebody, I know I'm not going to be able to show up and do my best for them. So I'm really checking for personal chemistry a lot as well. And as I was talking about earlier, the very unsexy truth, people hate the topic of ideal client avatar. And I get it. And I used to hate it too. But it is so important in your sales calls to really be in touch with your ideal client avatar and your nightmare client avatar if you want to be able to sell. Okay. So now I'm going to go into the structure. I know we got about 20 minutes. So let me kind of look. Okay. So the first thing is the opening of your sales call. And this should only take this is where a lot of people screw up, because they get on and they're nervous and they start talking to somebody like they're a friend. And the next thing you know, you spent 20 minutes talking about how you both have the same breed of dog and how both of your favorite color is royal purple, and all this stuff. And it just spins out of control. Right, Toyin?
Yeah, sure.
So this should only take like 2 to 3 minutes tops. And this is where you're establishing the culture of the call. You're stepping into your authority. You're showing up as the authority on the call, and you're pleasant. You learn to strike this balance of being very pleasant and personable, but also like being in control of the call. And so you're going to have quick pleasantries, hey, Toyin, thanks for getting on the call with me today. I'm excited to talk to you. How are you? And they give like a quick response. And if they start to spin out of control, okay, that's wonderful. Well, I'd love to hear about that, more at another time. But, right now, I know we only have a set amount of time together. So let's, bring it back. And you want to establish like right out of the gate. So, so the reason we're talking today is because you're interested in my group program. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And just putting it out there, right? And then that way there's no awkwardness about you pitching later, because nobody can pretend that they got on this call for any other reason than for you to tell them about this program, right? So that cuts that out like right there. And then you let them know that you are evaluating them just as they are evaluating you.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose of this call is for us to get to know each other and to see, see if you're going to be a good fit for my program. So you're putting people on notice that you're not waiting around to pitch to them. You're actually evaluating them to see if you're going to pitch to them. And that helps them to relax a little bit, because they're like, oh, okay, she's not trying to just sell to everybody. She's really like picking and choosing, because that's something that people wonder about, when you're like, oh my gosh, you'd be the best fit for my program. Everybody tells them that,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're thinking, well, that's, of course you're going to say that because you want to make a sale, Okay. So the next part of the call is asking them like, what's going on, what's going wrong. And this is where you're getting the context, not only finding out, like if you're a weight loss coach and somebody's on the phone with you, if they're on a call with you, obviously they're wanting to lose weight, but you want to get the context of where they are in this program, right? And this is another place where knowing who you work with and who your program is best with, So if you're a weight loss coach that helps people lose 100 plus pounds, and this person only needs to lose 5 pounds, that's a very different thing. Or if you're someone who specializes in people losing the last 10 pounds before their wedding, and this person has 50 pounds to lose, they're not your client, right? And really something that extreme is something you really should know before you even get on the call. There should be some pre-qualifying going on, but just to give you, the idea. So the second part of the call is really just getting the context of where they are with the problem and really looking at, are they in the right place? Are they at the right starting point with the problem? Do they have the right resources in place to be successful? The third part is finding out, what do they want instead? What is it that their dream solution, like where do they want to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year, or, once you finish building their website or whatever it is that you do. And you're listening for, are their goals realistic? You're listening for not only what it is that they want, but you're trying to see, are their goals realistic? Because if they've got really out there expectations that you're not going to be able to deliver on, then that's a problem. The other thing is you're listening for, how ambitious are they? Are they somebody that's really shooting for the moon, or are they somebody who, they're just kind of like wishy-washy and, whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth thing you're going to be looking at is finding out what's stopping them from reaching their goal. It's like, okay, well, you sound pretty clear about, you want X, Y, and Z. What are the challenges that have kept you from doing this? And in this, you're listening to, what is the problem? What's been keeping them, what's been holding them back? And you're matching up. Okay, is this stuff that I help people with? And maybe it's something that you can help people with, but you don't enjoy that part of it. So you're just really evaluating, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at all of these challenges that you actually help people overcome, that you enjoy helping people overcome. And you're also seeing like, what's their mindset? Are they blaming everybody and the world for them not having what they want? Or are they saying, yeah, I made some bad choices and that's where I am right now, or I haven't taken the time to learn about finances, so that's why I'm having these problems right now. Or is it, well, my stupid brother, stole money. You're finding out here, like, Are they in a warrior mindset where they're going to be determined and committed and make it happen? Or are they in a victim mindset where everything is just, nothing's my fault? Okay. Because you don't want that person. That's definitely, and that's what you,
Okay.
those are definitely nightmare clients. Okay. And then it's really powerful to ask them how committed they are to getting this result. You're listening for that in everything that they're talking about, and the stuff they're saying and the way they're saying it. I teach people how to look for body language and to listen to the different tones and how they're speaking to kind of read between the lines about things. So you're listening for those all the time, but it's really good to kind of, just not kind of, but just straight up say, well, how committed are you to getting this result? And listen to what they say and listen to, are they lying to themselves? Are they trying to lie to you? Are they really not that committed? Or are they really gung-ho about it? But I straight up tell people, like, I'm only available to work with people who are highly committed, because I only work with people that I feel are very likely to get great results. Right. So that puts them on notice that, like, you're the real deal. Once again, you're not looking to hire, you're not looking to be hired by everybody. You want to be hired by people that are going to get great results. So if you've gone through all of this and now you see that this is somebody that you want to pitch to, then you customize your pitch. You don't go do a cookie cutter of, oh, I think you'd be great for my program. And the first week of my program, we do this. And the second week of my program, we do this, and and explain the whole program. Don't do that. What you want to do is you want to think back to what they've told you about where they are with the problem, what their values are around solving it, and the specific challenges they're facing. And you want to match that up with the features and benefits of your program. And you want to do a custom pitch to them. Based on what you've told me, the first 3 things we would work on would be X, Y, and Z. And here's the benefits of that. And then if they want, if they're excited at that point, that's when you would say, okay, the investment for my program is this. And from there, you would go into, if they have any concerns, this is where you would get into the objections conversation. Or you would just say, they would say, hey, I'm ready, it's great. And you send them a link, or you can take their credit card over the, call, whatever. As Toyin was asking earlier, if somebody doesn't close on a call, don't freak out about it, because 80% of all sales are closed in follow-ups. My client that just messaged me on Voxer a few minutes ago, he sent me a message yesterday, and he said, I was on this call, and he said, I know I could have closed it, but my confidence faltered. So that's another thing that I really work with people, is how to show up in your authority and how to show up in your confidence. A lot of that has to do with owning the value of your program, which I'm really, really brilliant at helping people discover the full spectrum ROI, not just of whatever their program or service helps people with specifically, but how it affects their entire lives. So once you can step into that really helps your confidence. But my client, and there's other things you can do for confidence as well. But my client said, I could have closed this call. I know I could have, but my confidence faltered. And he's like, I want to talk about that next week. And then I don't know what happened between now and then, but he sent me a message earlier this morning and said, actually, I just closed it. So it ended up closing in a follow-up, even though it didn't close on the call. Mm-hmm. And so it's okay. Like, I'm not somebody that, some people teach you, this high pressure thing where you basically tell people if they don't close on, like, before they even get on the call with you, if they're not going to pay on the call, that you're just not even going to speak to them. And if that's the way you want to run things, that's great, whatever. I don't teach people to do that. I think it's a way to lose a lot of sales. Again, it's this relationship building thing, but if you speak to somebody and you really think they're a strong candidate for what you do, then you just keep in touch with them afterwards and give them space to come to the decision on their own. Yeah, so there's so much more that I could say, but I know I wanted to leave it time to give everybody time to, like, ask some questions and kind of digest, because I know I just kind of went.
That's perfect. I really like that. Yeah, thank you so much. The question I have is this: do as a coach, do you really give the pitch, the closing or the sales call to yourself, or I can as well hire someone to close for me? You know, some people like, I don't want to close, I don't want to talk to people. I'm like that type of person. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not that. But if there is a coach that doesn't like talking to people, can you hire someone to close for you?
Yeah. I just, I think in the beginning, most people can't afford to have somebody sell for them. And so, but it's a great skill to learn. And once you know how to sell in a way that feels good to you, you have a job wherever you go for the rest of your life, you know. And it's funny, it even shows up in my personal life. Like I'm having to negotiate terms of a relationship with somebody, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need to happen in order, you know, to move forward. But I'm like, how can I explain to this person that these are the benefits? Like, if you give me this, you get all of this. And there's more, you know. So sales really is like, it's across all areas of our life, you know. But yeah, if somebody wants somebody else to close with them, that's fine. You're gonna be, I think it would serve you really well to learn how to sell for yourself first. And then if you want to outsource it after that, then you know how you feel good about selling. You know how you want people to come into your world. A sales call done well, with, you know, genuine human connection and like positive sales psychology actually deepens the bond between you and your prospect, so that the first one or two coaching sessions that you have with somebody can be kind of awkward because you're getting to know each other, right? But if you know how to do these sales calls in a way that deepens the connection, then it means that your first session with them is going to be so much more productive, like from the start, because you've already built a foundation of a bond, you know. And you've asked enough questions and enough follow-up questions that you have a really deep understanding of what's going on with them. So you can really hit the ground running and start giving people phenomenal results, like just out of the gate, you know. But if you've learned how to do this for yourself, then you know how to train people that are going to sell for you
Yeah.
in a way that's going to feel good and bring people in the right way.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the best way for you to learn first, and then you can tell them, this is the way I want you to do my stuff. I think
Mhm.
that will help them to be able to know your direction and help you close too. So basically, we all got to learn how to close, how to sell without being like troubling someone, disturbing the person. I see people jump into my inbox every time and they drop in like, hey Toyin, how are you? You did it, blah blah blah. And at the end of the day, it's like they're sending me to buy something. Is that a good way of selling some stuff or making sales? I don't know.
So I I've never been taught to sell that way. I have noticed that cold messaging and cold pitching has evolved. It has more of a human touch, but at its heart is like a couple of questions and then let me sell you something. And depending on the day, I handled that differently. Somebody the other day jumped in and was like, "Oh, how's your coaching journey going?" And I'm like, "Okay, they want to pitch me." And so I just said, "Hey, it's great to be connected. I would love to learn more about you. But if you're just working toward a pitch, then please politely the f off." And but in stronger language. And you know, I would love to get to know people, but like if you're just working up to a pitch, no. So the thing with that cold pitching is that if you message 100 people a day like that, you will convert a certain number of them, but it's going to be a really low conversion rate, much lower conversion rate than if you're actually building relationships with people and spending a little time nurturing the relationship. And people that you've actually created a relationship with are going to be less likely to charge back, you know. So that's a method. It's not that it doesn't work, but there's pros and cons to it, as there is with anything. I choose not to do it. Most people I know hate it. It's going to earn you a lot more enemies and than it is going to net you like really good quality clients.
Yeah, yeah. And quality clients will always stay for a long time if they see that you're giving them results and you have a personal touch with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they're going to get good results. They're going to give you testimonials, which then makes your marketing easier. They're going to give you referrals, which makes your marketing easier. You know, they're not going to charge back. You know, they're not going to start nonsense online. They're not going to start drama on Facebook about how you rip them off and you know, yada yada yada. So it's just, that's coming back to why it's so important to really know your ICA and your nightmare client avatar, your ICA and your NCA, and only sell to people you really feel like are the right fit.
Yeah, yeah. So let me quickly reset the house right now. I have two people in here. And thank you for joining us. Well, thank you for joining us. Basically, Heather is here to teach us a little more about how you can sell without you being a bump, like without you disturbing people. You want to have a relationship with them. You want to really have a structure to follow while you are pitching to someone, and that is a specialty. She does it in an ethical way. You will feel so good about it when you drop the call with the person, and the person will also feel so good in the other end, because you are not really telling them, okay, this is all I can do for you, this is all I can do for you. A lot of people make you feel like make clients feel like they have more, they are more. There are some people you don't even go close to, even though they have all the results. You are looking at them up there, you can't go close to them because they feel so like, oh, they are everything. But there's some people that when you walk close to them and you see them and you say hello, they're gonna come down to your level and give you that help that you need. And if they cannot help you, they refer you to someone else. That is what she is. She teaches you the structure and how you can ethically sell to your clients and get results. So basically, she just dealt with a lot of stuff. The structure is there. Where do you start? Where do you get to move on to the next level with your client? And I think she has done justice to that program. I really want to thank you, Elsa. Wells, I don't know if you have any question. If you have any question in the group, I want you to ask your questions right now. Let's give you a moment to ask questions about sales, about how you can close your clients. And that will be that. I want to give people the time to do that. So let me
Yeah.
check. Let me check on Facebook if you have more.
Can I tell them about my academy
Yes,
while we're
yes,
waiting for people?
sure.
Okay, so I have my Soulful Sales Academy. It is a 7-week group program where I go into an even deeper dive on the sales call structure than when I did. It's a masterclass that's like almost 2 hours long when I go through it in like a paid setting, or like a paid for me setting. And I teach you the positive sales psychology. I teach you, help you more confidently pitch, be more confident. The confidence not only helps you in your sales, but it also helps you be a better service provider. The more confidently you show up for that. So we work on how to deliver the calls. We work on what to do before the call to make it more successful. And I burp a lot because I drink a lot of kombucha. We work on post-call follow-up. We work on how to customize the pitch. I mean, just every facet of sales. And it's a very deep dive program. It's only 7 weeks long, but one of the things that really separates it from a lot of programs out there is that you actually get to practice a sales call with me and get my direct feedback on it. Like we do a mock sales call, and you also have the other people in the academy to practice sales call with. And then you can send me a recording of one of your best sales calls, and I will do an in-depth review of that and give you really in-depth notes on where you can strengthen, and tell you where you're doing great as well. So that program, the price actually just went up. I just launched it last month and the reviews have been fantastic for it. So the price will continue to go up. And since I'm expanding into other niches, I am still doing the sales coaching. I am still really passionate about it, but it is going to be something that is going to go to the back burner. So if you're something that you're interested in doing with me, go ahead and hop on this, because going forward, I'll probably offer the academy like maybe twice a year. It's not going to be a constant thing that you're going to be able to access with me. But you can DM me and I will be happy to tell you about the Soulful Sales Academy. And Toyin, you're on mute. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay. So it's twice a year for the coaching program. But now.
Yeah, well, right now I'm still running it off of its first thing, and I'm kind of doing it as a rolling enrollment. as I get my transformational coaching, my personal coaching more out there and start booking more of my clients into that part of what I'm doing, I'm going to the sales is going to still be there, but it's going to take a back seat. So for the next, few weeks, the Soulful Sales Academy will be available. But then I'll shut it down and it probably won't be available again until like maybe the fall or, early next year.
Okay. Wow. That's really good. So this is an opportunity for you to get on a call with Heather. She's going to be teaching you and training you on how you can be a better salesperson. And that is really what we want. We want the sales, isn't it? That's we want to close we want to close the deals. So that is exactly what she's going to do, and she's going to help you. So basically, we really want to say thank you for joining Impact Social Media Marketing. It's a 5-day workshop, and basically our focus is on Facebook, as you all know, and we teach Facebook advertisement. We help clients to get their Facebook advertisement running, and also help them, because a lot of them, they want to do this thing by themselves, but they don't even know where the buttons are. So we try to point them to where the buttons are and tell them the few things that they can do to get some sales, to get some engagement. And then when it gets to the technical aspect of it, we come out to help them. So these are the people that are really, just as you said, they are determined, they really want, they're ambitious, they want to get results, and they are ready to go. So I really want to say thank you. Wealth, if you do you have any question, I will give you a time to ask your question right now.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Wealth.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank God. It's quite an awesome lecture, though I joined late. I didn't know that it has started. At the moment, I don't really have any questions.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. She's in the group also. I know they're going to watch this particular event, and they might have questions later. So I'm going to point them. I'm going to point them to you, and you can also join to check out on our profile. Yes, she's on Facebook, and you are on Instagram, isn't it? Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, but I'm not over there very much. I have a profile, but yeah, I'm about to start a podcast. I do have a YouTube channel, but it's still in its kind of infancy. The best thing to do is to reach out to me in a DM. You're welcome to tag me in comments, but sometimes we don't get notifications. So a DM is really on Facebook is really the best way to reach me. And I'm happy to hop on, a quick no pitch call and just start finding out what your background is and let you know if you're going to be a good fit or not. And of course, let you ask me, questions. But.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome. I really want to say thank you for the time, getting you. I know you're very busy. I really want to thank you for this time you put into our workshop this year. Basically, the workshop is going to finish on Monday. That is the end of the workshop. Yeah. So we are really glad that you are here. Tomorrow, for those that are in the group, it's another moment. Another guest is going to come in, and we're going to be showing you about our lead CRM. Our lead CRM. You want to get leads too? Yes, we have a way by which you can get these leads as easy as possible, and how you can manage them. So our next part, who is called Kumra, she's going to be here also tomorrow to teach you how you get your leads and how you can use your system. For those of you that already gotten into the Lead CRM app, you are welcome. He is going to help us onboard you and teach you how to use the software. So I really want to say thank you so much, Heather and Wealth, for joining us. I love you all. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Toyin, for this opportunity. Wealth, it was lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.